Welcome back to Car Brand Infos, folks. Today I have a little bit of a treat for you, some knowledge to help you with purchasing a vehicle. This is a dealer's invoice that's sitting here behind me, and we're going to go over what these numbers mean. Okay, on this side, this is the equipment that is coming in this particular car. Up top here is the year, and this will be the model of this particular vehicle. Down below, we have employee pricing and what we call holdback for the dealer. And then this disclosure, this is all from the manufacturer, which I highlighted. So we're going to go over this stuff. Now, here's the important things that you need to know. Okay. I was in sales for a really long time and in this auto industry for a very long time. Okay. First as a technician, because when I was little, I was always into cars, very much so. Hot Wheels, Matchbox, all of them, you name it. Trucks and buses. Love the automobile itself. Very passionate about it. There's not a brand that I don't know. They all have an invoice. Okay. Most of this information is public. And what you see here on this side is what you would see on the manufacturer's website. The retail price before any add-ons to the vehicle, which means this equipment. So if you select this particular model, these are the things that are going to come in that vehicle. These will be the costs that you will see on the manufacturer's website, their transportation costs, and then the MSRP. Now, this is a car from 2024, okay? So pricing has changed since then, okay? And we all know that pricing is going to change again due to Trump's tariffs that are coming. But besides that, everyone who's been in the market for a car over the last 5 years have seen prices go up and stay up for some time, and then they kind of got back to being regular. These numbers here is the dealer's invoice. And basically, this is what the manufacturer cost is. The cost of the wholesale costs of these items that was installed at the factory or at the port. As you can see, the transportation cost does not change. And then basically invoice price for the vehicle, what the dealer pays, minus their holdback. Now, I'll get into what holdback is in a second. But let me just go over a few things that you are responsible for when purchasing a brand new vehicle. And buying a brand new vehicle, there is slightly different fees and processes than there is for a used car. Because if you're buying a used car from a dealer, then the rules still stick because it's pretty strict for them. If you're buying it from a used car dealer, a used car dealership, that means they don't sell new cars whatsoever. All they sell is used. The whole process is different. They're only regulated and monitored by the state because they only sell used cars. Dealers that sell new cars, and of course they have used cars because you trade your cars in there that they sell, they are regulated by the state and the manufacturer. The manufacturer controls everything. And that's the perception that most people aren't aware. It is a tri-head agreement between the dealer, the manufacturer, and the state, okay? This course is the same whether you're on the West Coast of the United States or whether you're on the East Coast. It doesn't change. What change would be incentives, rebates, allowances, okay? Those things will change depending on where you are in the state, okay? So understand that. This price is the same price that you see on the manufacturer's website. This does not change regardless of where you are. You will notice that when you go onto the manufacturer's website, they always ask you what's your zip code. They want to know your location. They're not doing that just for cookies so they can track your purchases, things like that. It's also the incentives that you may qualify for your area, okay, in your state. If you're buying a car out of state, that's a whole nother topic, and I'll get into that. It's pretty easy to do. And sometimes it's worth doing that because sometimes you can get the car cheaper. But you still pay these very same 3 fees regardless of where you go. And those fees you are responsible for, okay, whether you're buying a used or new car. Obviously, the obvious is sales tax, okay? And if you are in one of those states, before anybody comment in the video, that they don't have no sales tax like Delaware or North Carolina, it might be included in your property tax. But there's some kind of tax. States always find a way to charge for it. And if they're not doing it as a sales tax, they might do it like as a motor vehicle fee besides your motor vehicle, which will be equivalent in price to a sales tax. All states have found ways to make sure they get their money when it comes to you purchasing an automobile. This has nothing to do with the dealer. The dealer pays those things for you when you're purchasing the vehicle because, or should I say the bank, because you're taking out a loan. So that money goes to the state and they're responsible to make sure that gets done after you agree to your sale price, because then it's plus those things. An easy way to figure out basically on average what tax and motor vehicle and the dealer's doc is going to cost you. Let's just assume somewhere between $3,000 to $4,000 total. All three of those things. Just to say somewhere between $3,000, maybe $3,500 or $4,000. It's just an estimated price. You would add that on to the sale price that you see. So if it's MSRP, add that much money onto this, and you will have a general idea what your out the door price is. This way you don't have to keep calling dealers to try to get a price, because maybe the kind of work you do, you don't have time to sit at a dealership and get these things. But if you went onto the manufacturer's website because you see a car you like, you build it, and they give you this MSRP price, okay, obviously there might be incentives for you to negotiate and reduce the price of the car. But if you just wanted to get an idea, okay, of what it's going to cost you, it's real simple. It's this price plus those three fees. Now, each dealer is different. You can have the same brand someplace, let's say 2 Chevy dealers. They may have different fees or what they may offer, okay? Now, these aren't hidden fees. I always hear that line, hidden fees, and people who've been in this industry for so long, oh, dealers, they're going to rob you. They got these hidden fees, and these hidden fees are wrong. It's not a hidden fee. What you would legally consider a hidden fee is that you not only, one, it never came up, or you've seen it in the time that you were discussing or talking about the car, the pricing with the salesperson, if you're negotiating with a salesperson or a manager. Let's say that it's not in those numbers. And then you go into the finance manager or / business manager, because that's the titles that they're called. And you go in there, and those same numbers are the exact same numbers that you see when you're out with your salesperson or / their manager. And then you walk out of the dealership driving off with your new car, and then you look down at your paperwork, and then there's something else in there after the fact, and it was never discussed. That is technically a hidden fee. Okay? Some states, dealers are required to offer services. I know some people are going to say that's, bullcrap, but it is not. Let's say you go to a dealer and it's a state that actually has accountability in it for consumers. Let's say they don't offer you tire and wheel for your vehicle. And this has happened. This literally has happened. They don't offer it. Not the salesperson nor the business manager. Let's say they're just too cowardly to even ask. They assume they're just happy they're making a sale. They don't even offer to you. You don't sign anything waiving that. You drive off the lot, pop, tire pops, you hit a pothole or something, you crack your rim. It's a brand new car. You ain't even had it 12 hours. You come back to the dealer. Okay, this depends on the state that you're in. You got to look what your state laws are. Dealer didn't offer this. You come back in and say, hey, what can I do about this? This is a brand new car. I just bought it. I hit a pothole, tire pop. What's the warranty on it? Because maybe when they did go over warranty, they didn't explain to you that things like that are not covered, right? And then you find out that they actually have a service to actually cover that, but you'd have been willing to pay for it. Let's say it's not that expensive. Let's say it costs $800 for the warranty. And you'd have been like, oh, $800 divided over my 5 years of the loan or 3 years of the loan, I could have paid this off, and it's not that much money in my monthly payment. Why didn't you offer this to me? And you come to find out that they didn't offer this. Guess what happens? Depending on the state, they're liable. Okay? They would have to buy you a brand new rim and tire. Some states, it's not the case. So When you go and sit down at a dealership, depending on where you are in the country, and the salesperson comes back with not just this price, the MSRP, and they come back with this plus taxes, extended warranty, or any other kind of extended warranty, or any other stuff that they offer as a service, first of all, those things are negotiable. You have the right to say no, you don't want them. They're not mandatory. And if they tell you that they're mandatory, then it is time to get up and walk out. Okay, just so you know, it is not mandatory. The only mandatory fees that you absolutely are responsible for are your taxes, motor vehicles, and the dealer's dock. Okay, anything else other than that, it is on the table for negotiation. And if you choose to not want it and the dealer is not willing to let you purchase the vehicle, because that's their right to do that, without buying those services, then guess what? It's time to go to another dealer. Okay? They can't force you to take it. But yes, this price is negotiable, MSRP, so you can always work on, trying to bring down the price. Transportation fee is on every car. And this is charged to the dealer. As you can see on this side, it's the exact same price. It doesn't change. They don't get a discount or anything like that. It's what's paid. Sometimes dealers, depending on where you are in the country, they will tell you, we'll remove this. They cannot. It's part of the MSRP. Okay, that means it's physically part of the car. Now, you can ask them to deduct this much off the car. And that's a different, language is very important in this business. So you can say, hey, you can take this $1,420 off the car, okay, and I'll buy the car. So you're asking for basically a $1,400 discount. And there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But what they can't do is tell you that they can remove this 100% off the car. It doesn't work that way. It is physically part of your MSRP. So that means that sticker, when you get up, you look at the car window and you see the sticker on there, you'll see this is on there. It does not change. Okay, it doesn't go away. And anything that's physically part of that window sticker can't be removed from the car. Okay, it's physically part of the VIN, and that makes it physically part of the car. So let's say you came in there and you go, oh, I see this car has all weather mats, but I don't need that. Can you take that off the car? They can discount that off the car, but they're not supposed to remove it. Okay, it's physically part of the car, because when you run that VIN, it's going to say this car came with all this stuff. It's part of the car. That's the DNA basically of the car. That's what it is. Now down here, this disclaimer, it says this invoice may not reflect dealer's ultimate price, ultimate vehicle cost, given at any incentives, rebates, allowances, or holdback, or etc. Incentives are controlled by the manufacturer. Rebates controlled by the manufacturer. This is not controlled by the dealer. Okay? These are things that the manufacturer is given to help you purchase the vehicle. Okay? Some manufacturers, they disclose this information up front online, let you know that they do offer incentives on a particular car and model. Okay? Now, what those incentives are, I don't know. They could be $200, it could be $1,500, but you have to check or ask. And there's nothing wrong with asking, and if a dealer gets offended that you're asking these things, they ain't worth buying a car from. Okay? This is just knowledge that you can get. Allowances, again, this is all based off of what the manufacturer is willing to offer. And these things help lower the price. Okay? And etc. Holdback, which is this number here. So this says $265. Basically, the manufacturer is giving a holdback. Now, holdback is basically the car comes off the truck or from the port. When it comes there, it doesn't have all the fuses and everything in it, so that the car could just be immediately driven off the lot. The car has to go through a process. The technicians have to check it, check all the fluids, make sure the car's functional, check all the codes, make sure there's nothing mechanically wrong with the car, that it's not a lemon. And then the car goes into detail and get cleaned up for you, and you drive off with your brand new car. Well, the manufacturer kind of helps cover that cost. Okay? Doesn't cover all of it, but that's what some of this money's for. Okay, so when a dealer tells you, okay, I'm willing to do invoice, and you're still pushing, oh, I want a little bit better, can you do better, can you do better? Now keep in mind, this is before any incentives. This is just you negotiating. Let's say you get to this point, you're at the 28,424, okay? But then you're getting a loyalty rebate because you currently have that branding, right? That either you're trading in or you're holding on because you have another one in the house. It would be minus that on top of that, and so on and so on. But let's say you get down to the nitty gritty and now there's not a lot of room. If the dealer is being stubborn at that point and they're telling you that they don't have a lot more money left, obviously, and they go ahead and they tell you, well, okay, I'll give you my whole back. That is it. That is it. That means they've given you a fantastic deal. Okay, they're not lying, they're not hiding. I know people go, oh, well, I wonder if I could have got more. You don't know unless you ask. But realistically, that would be their bottom line. You would minus this from this. That would be their bottom line for the car. There are penalties. Now, off to my left side here, you have an E plan, which is basically the employee pricing. And yes, this number will always be less than this number because you don't work for the company. For employees that work for the company, they get a PIN number, and this would be their price. And that's not negotiable for them. Okay, they can't then sit down and say, I want this, this, that, and the other. Now they can have this, and let's say they currently have that brand, and they can get rebates that they qualify or incentives. And yes, they may get a little less than that because these things are things that basically allow for the car to be cheaper. All right, they're incentives of some sort. They're not included in this. Okay, so if you go on to like TrueCar and you see where it looks like somebody bought a car at a ridiculous number, it may be because they're an employee. Okay, they may have qualified for incentives, which would then reduce his price, but that is their price. Right below that is an S plan. S plan is basically the invoice. As you can see, these numbers are identical. And this is also considered a employee pricing. And there is a code or a PIN that goes with this. Now, this basically, what this means is that let's say you work for a particular company. I'm just going to throw a name out there. I'm just using it as an example. Let's say you work for UPS, but UPS has a deal with a particular manufacturer, Ford, General Motors, Toyota, whoever. And you find out through your employer that they have a car service buying program, and you find out that you qualifying and they provide you a PIN. Then when you go to the dealership, you would let them know that, and this would be with the PIN number would solidify. This would be the number. So this gets through all the haggling, all the bull crap. So you don't have to start here. It would immediately take you here. And then of course, if your incentives that you qualify for, you get the incentives again minus this. So that's how that works. I wanted to bring this up because a lot of times people don't really know the buying experience. And to me, the buying experience is the most important thing. And I'll tell you why. Manufacturers spend millions and millions of dollars at dealerships to try to improve the service because they want you to come back and buy another vehicle. Not just the dealer, okay? Literally, the manufacturer is hoping to retain you as their customer or be a shareholder for them. And that's very important to them. And so they spend a lot of money to make sure you train your staff and that your staff is knowledgeable about the product and things of that nature. Most people who are coming in to buy, they don't realize it is a process to purchase a vehicle. It's not just simple. It's not like going to a retail store and picking up a shirt or a pair of shoes and you can just go run to the register and you're in and out in 5 minutes. It is a process. Okay. People say it takes too long. Okay, that depends on the brand and their I guess their processes to quickly get a sale done. Now there are ways to get your sale done at a faster pace so that you're not all day, but that means you have had to done your legwork. That means when you go to that dealership, that means you're there to buy. Right then and there. That means you already looked. You've checked on the VIN, made sure it had the right color and stuff you're looking for. You've called to make sure that VIN number is available. You let them know that you're coming in. You set a time with them. Okay. maybe leave a deposit on it so it doesn't get sold out from underneath you. If the dealer permits it and allows you to negotiate over the phone for the car, negotiate your pricing. If not, when you get there, make sure you've looked at TrueCar and Edmunds and everything else. You've done your homework online to get an idea of pricing. And pricing, just so you know, this isn't algebra. This is just adding and subtracting. It's very easy math. It's literally that easy. It's not rocket science to figure out how to purchase a vehicle and what's going on. Like I said, once you figure out what your sales tax is, motor vehicle, and the motor vehicle cost, basically, you can't call DMV and go, not unless your state permits that. Call DMV and go, hey, what does it cost for me to do my plates? Okay, Massachusetts, I think, and New Hampshire, that area, I think the dealers don't do plates. I think the customer has to do their own plates. Okay, or Alabama, I think, as well. But places like New York, New Jersey and stuff, the dealers are responsible for doing those. And in that case, there's a cost associated with that. Now, because this is a state fee, dealers do not profit off your DMV. Okay, anything that's state dealerships won't mess with that. Whatever belongs to the government belongs to the government. It is what it is. If they overcharge you, they will absolutely cut you back a check and you'll get back the difference. Okay, because they don't want the state hounding them. They don't want the trouble or the problems. It ain't too friendly for them, so you don't want that. So this is why I told you the 3 things you're absolutely responsible for: doc fee, which is their license to process your tags and motor vehicle and all those things that it costs for them to make this transaction possible for you, your motor vehicle, and state sales tax if your state has a sales tax. So those are the things that you need to know if you're in the market for a vehicle and you're going to purchase a vehicle. It's pretty easy. It's not hard. I used to hate that customers used to always sit and tell me that they had anxiety and they hate this process. Most people do when it comes time to go purchase a vehicle. I'm pretty sure when you guys see this video, you guys will probably have comments because, look, it's the truth. People hate it. They also hate that it takes so long. So best times to buy a vehicle. If you can avoid Saturdays, I would, if you can. Okay, I know most of us, we work during the week, but if you can take a day off or you have a day off during the week, that is the time to go do it. And my suggestion is do it in the morning. Get it done early, because I'm going to tell you, I would love to, if I was, able to go in the morning and get my car, drive off with it. I can show my family and friends and enjoy my car for the entire day, right? Versus let me go there late at night, because I'm going to tell you, going there late at night is not fun, and it's not necessarily the best idea to go buy a car at night if you can avoid it. If you can avoid it. If you can't, it is what it is. But for me, if I know I worked all day, the last thing I want to do is then after I get off work, then go to a dealer. I would prefer to go take the time off, go in the morning, get done, get out, and go and enjoy the rest of my day and enjoy my new vehicle. So as you can see, this is FGV, Car Brand Infos. Thank you guys for tuning in. I have more for you guys about the buying process of a vehicle. If you have questions, please leave questions in the comments. Thank you again for tuning in. And like I said, try to make your buying process as easy as possible that I can, if I can help you. Again, depending on what these numbers are, just remember anywhere between $3,000, $3,500, or $4,000, depending on where you are, because everybody's sales tax is different and motor vehicles are different. Basically, add on to the price. And then if you wasn't sure, obviously, if there's no 0%, if there's 0%, you could just divide this over the term, which is like 5 years or 6 years, 60 months or 72 months, basically. And then you'll kind of get an idea on monthly payment. If there's interest, because this doesn't include interest, okay? And just, manufactured banks are usually less cheap than a standard bank. You can check with your own bank to see what kind of rate you'll get, but most times your standard bank is not going to have a better rate than the actual manufacturers. Manufacturers use those low rates to actually help you purchase because all they do is do automobile loans. They don't do mortgages and things or private, right? So most times their rates are usually less than your standard banking, which would be like Chase, Bank of America, things of that nature. But if you want to go through your own bank and get an idea, if you can do the math with, adding on what the interest would cost over a 5-year period, you can do it that way as well. But if you just want to get a general ballpark figure so you can see what kind of monthly payment you're going to be at, just so you kind of know if you're going to be where you need to be before you walk through the door, add and subtract. That's all that is. Add and subtract. And that'll give you a general idea. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. Talk to you guys next time.